Have you ever entered a home that felt like a sanctuary of absolute, unwavering order? Not a house cleaned for a party, but a space that simply exists in a permanent state of calm. You find yourself wondering if these people possess a secret discipline that you simply lack. But a clean house isn't about scrubbing floors. It's about the silent architecture of the mind. Meet Julian, a man who discovered that his environment is the mirror of his internal world. For Julian, cleaning isn't a chore he dreads. It is a ritual that maintains his mental clarity. He operates from a neurological framework where order is synonymous with safety and focus. Your brain doesn't truly distinguish between the chaos on your desk and the chaos in your thoughts. There is a concept called cognitive load, the amount of mental effort your brain uses every second. Clutter is a constant, aggressive thief that competes for your attention even when you aren't looking. Every pile of unwashed laundry is a signal of unfinished business that your brain must record. Unfinished business is mentally expensive, slowly draining your battery throughout the entire day. Research shows that physical mess overloads the visual cortex, making you less sharp and more fatigued. Your messy room isn't just a nuisance, it is a physical weight slowing down your processing speed. But when Julian restores order, he allows his nervous system to finally exhale and relax. A clean environment doesn't just look better, it allows you to think with a precision you didn't know you had. Julian doesn't necessarily love the act of cleaning, but he loves the person he becomes in a clean space. He realized that maintaining his home is the most reliable way to maintain a sense of control. Most of life is unpredictable: the economy, the weather, and the complicated moods of other people. This unpredictability creates a background hum of stress that we often carry without even realizing it. But the state of your kitchen counter is a domain where you are the absolute and final authority. Every time Julian wipes a surface, he sends a signal to his brain: I am in charge here. I am safe. In psychology, this reinforces an internal locus of control, the belief that your actions truly matter. People with this mindset experience less anxiety and far greater resilience when life gets difficult. Taking ownership of your immediate space is the simplest way to build the muscle of self-efficacy. But the real secret to Julian's spotless home isn't willpower. It is a fundamental shift in his identity. He didn't just learn to clean, he became the kind of person who takes care of his environment. Behavioral psychology tells us that we always act in alignment with who we believe we truly are. If you tell yourself you are a messy person, you will let the dishes pile up to prove yourself right. But identity is not a fixed stone. It is built through the small daily evidence of your own actions. Every time you make your bed, you are voting for the identity of someone who follows through. Do this enough times, and your brain has no choice but to update its internal picture of you. This is identity-based habit theory. You stop forcing a behavior and start being the behavior. The goal is to become someone who simply does it. Julian finds this habit especially powerful when he integrates it into the first moments of his morning. Upon waking, your brain is in a receptive state, a perfect window for rewiring and neuroplasticity. By making his bed first thing, Julian creates what psychologists call a completion loop. His brain receives a small, clean hit of dopamine from seeing a task finished within minutes of waking. This generates momentum, encouraging him to complete the next task and the next with ease. As the famous saying goes, if you want to change the world, start by making your own bed. It's a small sense of pride that compounds, turning a tiny win into a highly productive day. However, we must also look at what happens when the environment begins to deteriorate and fall apart. Clutter is rarely neutral. It is almost always a symptom of an internal struggle we are trying to ignore. When life feels overwhelming, our spaces often reflect that chaos, mirroring our own inner depression. A messy home can be a cry for help from a mind that has lost its ability to regulate itself. High cortisol levels are directly linked to living in a home filled with unfinished projects. If you feel tired even when you haven't worked, look around. Your mess might be the one draining you. Julian isn't more disciplined than you. He simply built a system that runs on total automation. Discipline is a limited fuel that burns out. Automation is a self-sustaining engine that needs no effort. It takes an average of 66 days for a behavior to shift from choice to automatic. Julian forced himself to be consistent until he no longer had to think about being consistent at all. There is also a deep sensory experience in a clean home that speaks directly to the nervous system. The absence of visual noise allows the brain to switch from alert mode to recovery mode. For highly sensitive people, a clean space isn't a luxury. It is a vital mental health practice. It is the reason why healing spaces, spas, and hospitals are kept so obsessively ordered and bright. Julian noticed that when he is stressed, the act of cleaning becomes a form of behavioral activation. This is the clinical term for using physical movement to shift a stagnant or negative emotional state. When you are anxious, getting up to do the dishes gives your nervous system a way to discharge energy. The physical rhythm of the task settles the mind, turning external order into internal peace. Tucking your home into bed at night creates a psychological boundary between work and rest. Julian spends 10 minutes tidying before sleep, telling his brain, "The day is done, you can sleep now." This ensures that tomorrow, Julian isn't greeted by the failures and leftovers of yesterday Julian. So, how do you begin if you feel buried under a mountain of clutter and years of messy habits? The answer is to shrink the start. Never wait for the mountain to grow before you take a step. Large tasks are terrifying and easy to avoid. Tiny maintenance acts are almost invisible to the ego. Wipe the counter while the coffee brews. Wash the plate the very second you are finished eating. When the mess never has a chance to exist, the effort required to stay clean becomes almost zero. Use habit stacking. Attach a new cleaning task to something you already do every single day. If you already brush your teeth, wipe the sink immediately after. Use the momentum you already have. Most importantly, stop treating cleaning as a punishment or a chore you are being forced to perform. If your brain perceives an act as punishment, it will build a wall of resistance to protect you. Turn it into a ritual. Put on your favorite music, make a drink, and enjoy the physical sensation of order. Your home is a physical expression of your standards. It shows the world what you think you deserve. When you care for your space, you are telling yourself, "I matter, and I deserve to live in peace." Imagine coming home exhausted and being greeted by a space that is open, warm, and perfectly ready for you. That feeling of relief is a form of self-love that doesn't require words or grand, expensive gestures. Julian isn't rigid or obsessive. He simply decided that his inner peace was worth the 10-minute investment. Over the next 7 days, I want you to choose just one small corner of your world to maintain perfectly. See if it doesn't change the way you breathe when you walk into that specific room tomorrow morning. I'm Leo, and I hope this note helps you build a home that finally feels like yours. Goodbye for now.